be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee. I took an arrow in the knee.
Aloha, everybody. Welcome to episode 11 of your Elder Scrolls Online podcast. My name is Tom Powers, and as usual, we have a big show ahead of us this evening. Welcome to Troll Scroll. Holy smokes. It's been over a month. International business, holidays, family. It's been a busy freaking month. But it's good to be back.
Did you say international business?
International business, yes. I was abroad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were abroad doing international business things.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't doing business.
Does lying on a beach count as
I wasn't doing
business?
I was down in Mexico, relaxing.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus, Tip.
I wasn't really throwing you under the bus. I was just trying to clarify.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But it was a good holiday. It was great. It's great to be back, though. Good to get it back into the swing of things. Got a lot to talk about. Got a new co-host. Ladies first, Sophie.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing great. Can't wait for the Elder Scrolls Online. Yoo-hoo!
There you go. You signed up for beta yet?
I have. I did, as soon as it came out yesterday, it was the first thing I did.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, Sophie. You're from Canada, right? Quebec?
That's right.
Very cool. We somehow
very
always
cold,
have a
actually.
Canadian as part of our podcast. Or as part of our... I don't know. We've always had great relations with Canadians, so I hope you enjoy your time here.
I will.
Alrighty, Tim LaPerriere, my fellow Michigander, that French guy.
Yo.
Hey.
What's up?
What's going on, dude?
I'm not really French now compared to Sophie.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And, I mean, she's a lot colder than I am, so I guess I'm really not that guy way up north either. I'm going to need a new nickname. I guess that's something we can
Michigander?
later. Michigan. I mean, I guess, yeah.
Fits well.
Yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah, why not?
Live in Michigan.
How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm glad to actually be podcasting again. I've missed this. So.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
I missed it too.
My fellow Floridian, Dan the Man. Yo.
I want a new nickname too, Tom. I don't... Fellow Floridian, it's not... kicking
What
right
is
now.
this, a New Year's resolution for everyone? Let's have a new
let's do that,
podcast alias.
Yeah, we should just make
What happened?
some, awesome nicknames so we all have something cool. Fellow Floridian, that's just lame to me.
Dirty Dan.
No. I don't like that either.
Okay.
We'll have
Dan
to
the
think of
Man.
something over this week until we do the
We'll
new
call
podcast.
him Waterboy.
Dano.
We'll call him Waterboy.
Okay, Waterboy works. There we go.
Oh,
Waterboy.
cool, thanks. That's even lamer than Fellow Floridian.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
lame names go to lame people. I'm just kidding, Dan.
you're not lame, Dan.
Just
I
kidding.
love you.
Right.
I love you.
Alright, but guys, without further ado, I'm glad to see everyone's doing great. Sophie, glad to have you on the show for your first episode of Troll Scroll. But
Thanks for having me.
yeah, no problem. We have a ton to talk about. Yesterday, just bombshell news, ZeniMax Online Studios announced closed beta signups, which is insane. Everyone jumped aboard. There were so many people trying to sign up for beta. There was so much traffic that the website was crashing or something. And there were a lot of issues where people were having a hard time to sign up for beta. Dan, you were one of them, weren't you? Did you finally get through?
I tried to sign up once and it was go back. What was the exact words it said? It was you have to go back journey or something like that. And I was like, what the heck's going on? I tried a second time and it wouldn't work. And then they're like, oh, we got so much traffic that it's not even working anymore. So I keep trying. So I did. It finally worked.
That's what it said. That was the message.
Yeah,
It's not
it
even
was
working anymore. Just keep trying. Just keep trying, guy. You got this.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
I was like, for Elder Scrolls, I'll try for you guys.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask a question. All of you signed up, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What did you get on your chances of getting in bar? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The color bar.
Yeah.
There was like
Mhm.
average, above average, and then excellent. What did you guys get? Sophie, let's start with you.
I got excellent.
Dan, let's
Okay.
move with you.
I'm not as excellent. I got above average.
And Tim.
Guaranteed. No, I'm kidding. That was a joke. Excellent.
Okay. Everyone I've met, which is a lot of people, just talking to kids at school today, they've all gotten excellent except you, Dan.
Yeah. Well, I guess I got the short end of the stick here.
I can't say the same. Like, I've been looking at forums with other friends, and a lot of people got excellent, but also I'd say half of them got above average. And you know, one thing that I've seen the most complaints about the beta was people, you know, they were actually registering at work. So when they asked, you know, for that DXDX file, people were really upset, and then I have to wait until I get home to sign up. And that's a lot of complaints I saw on the forums here.
I did it at school, so maybe that's why it wasn't so great.
Were you on your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Well, and you have a Mac, right, Dan?
Yes, but I did boot camp with it, so I have Mac and Windows, and I do it on my Windows. I did a DX on Windows.
Dude, you should have done it on your Mac, bro.
I should have, but
Because,
I didn't.
because Mac's compatible with the Elder Scrolls, so it would have totally. That might have actually slightly increased your chances. Not saying that you know, it's true or anything, but I mean that could have potentially. Because Tom, weren't you saying something like Windows 8 users are going to be vital to the whole testing thing too? So suppose like if you have a Mac or a Windows 8 or something like that, that might also increase your chances of actually getting in because they want to test on platforms and operating systems that they don't normally, I guess.
Well, yeah, and I did research. I did research later today, and there was sort of some, not conflicting reports, but sort of they were said differently. Like Paul Sage said some things that was a little different in one interview, and then there were things said that was different from the beta FAQ, and then there were things that were sort of said differently in the Best Beta podcast that came out addressing the whole beta thing. But for the whole Mac thing, it sort of sounds like, I guess it's not for sure yet. They said that when Mac is ready to go for testing, they're going to send out the invite. So I'm assuming Mac might be coming later than people with Windows.
Right. Okay.
But you know, I can't imagine. I'm not trying to downplay the Mac users, but I can't imagine there's as many people with Macs signing up for beta as people with PC. So if they get the frickin' Mac client figured out, you know, 2 weeks after PC, Dan, you might have a better chance than any of us because we're competing with more PC users for a closed beta invitation.
Yeah, but I did my DX for Windows, not for the Mac operating system.
Yeah.
So I screwed the pooch on that one.
It's all right.
It's all right, bro. Yeah, so let's talk about some beta things first of all. Here's some specific information, sort of broken down. You must be at least 18 years old to participate in closed beta.
Makes sense.
If you lied about your age or any of the information and somehow ZeniMax Online finds out, you're kicked, or you have potential of being kicked. If you're chosen, you cannot tell anyone. That's what an NDA is, non-disclosure agreement. Not allowed to tell anyone. There is something interesting, though, about this contract, which we'll get to in a second. You can't talk to any of your friends about it, obviously. You can't take screenshots of gameplay and post it to the public. If you do, you'll be kicked. But if you film content, if you want to write an article about the content that you experienced in closed beta, you can contact ZeniMax Online and ask for permission, and they might give you the go-ahead to talk about. I thought that was pretty cool because usually other MMOs are just like NDA, no content, no discussion about it, unless you're like press, unless you're IGN or, you know,
right, and even they have restrictions.
Exactly.
Like, you know, they can only do it during certain press events. So Yeah, that's totally awesome because I think it really gives players that are beta testing, some incentive to kind of do a little bit of filming, and not have to take that chance of getting kicked out of beta. It helps promote the game first and foremost. So I could see why ZeniMax would allow that, just because it's free promotion for them. So yeah, that's totally awesome.
Would you think that ZeniMax Online will let people live stream if they get permission?
I think they will. I think once it's further down the road and people have had it, they'll lift the NDA for streaming and stream it on Twitch. I bet they will.
I mean, okay, I would say later on down the road, like Dan, not right off the bat.
No,
probably
I agree.
Because the reason why they have to approve is because some of the content might not be, ready to be released to the public yet. So, our live streamer always has that chance of accidentally finding a bug or something like that they want to keep behind closed doors. And if they have a recording of it, they can take that recording and either edit it out, or they can be like, hey, this video's no good, blah, 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 for whatever reasons. But as, a live streamer, I mean, it's live streaming. So they could potentially run into something that they don't want to show to the public just yet. So I would say later on down the road, not right off the start.
I would agree with them on there. One thing that I know Twitch does, if somebody streams without permission, they just go and ban the account, and usually that's pretty quick. If they spot somebody streaming in beta and is not supposed to, then you get in trouble for that. Just a heads up.
No, no, that's a great point. That's a great point. And I think, I agree with you, Tim, because the whole live streaming thing might be a risk. Like, what if they're live streaming and something terribly goes wrong? Like, people are running through walls or,
It looks worse than, and it's an easy bug.
It's bad PR
or something
then.
like that. Right, it's terrible PR, so.
Yeah, this is some statements that were made. You can find these on the beta frequently asked questions. This is a quote from the team. We have begun gathering applications for entry into the Elder Scrolls Online beta as of Tuesday, January 22nd, 2013. The actual start of the Elder Scrolls Online beta events will take place in weeks and months to follow. I think that's something else that's a little unique about this closed beta is that it's in event format instead of like the traditional closed beta. You get an invite and you pretty much play up until the release day of the game. What do you guys think about that? You think is that a disadvantage that you can't have players constantly playing up till the time the game launches, or?
No,
they have a plan.
Absolutely.
Here?
In fact, I think it's more of a strength. I mean, Star Wars: The Republic did this. Okay, for certain points, they had public testers, that played, or not public testers. I'm sorry, beta testers that played the entire length of the beta period. Then they had focus testers, and then they had weekend testers. Now the weekend testers were more for getting players in at the end of beta, but they had specific focus groups that would go in and they would focus on flashpoints, or they would focus on endgame, or they would focus on different aspects of the game. And the plus side to this is that you're always getting new players and new fresh set of eyes in for each focus test. So you get players with new perspectives that come in, new ideas, something like that. They come in, they play a little bit, and then they, obviously get put off to whatever, they get kicked out, I guess you could say. That's good too, just because, you don't want somebody to play the game for a whole year. Okay, and then you go to launch the game, and they're like, "Ooh, been playing this game for a year already, not really into it anymore." And they kind of bounce. Thanks for the free game though. I had fun playing it. So, I think it works really well for ZeniMax. Plus, players don't get burned out. If you get into a beta that you really want to play, you're going to be playing it all the freaking time, and whether you're reporting bugs or you're just playing it because you want to play it as a demo, which I hope that not many people do that. Please report bugs if you get into beta. Please report bugs. But if, people are playing it just as a demo, they're going to get burned out, and then, like I said, when time comes for the launch, they're not going to want to play anymore. So I really think it's a good idea on ZeniMax's end.
Yeah, definitely. I think it will definitely work, and it sounds like, according to the interview from the Bethsaida podcast, the reason why they're doing it in these sort of beta sessions, which I'm assuming will be on weekends, is so that they could be more organized with playing with that beta player base on focusing on specific things to test. They said that players are not only going, so one weekend players might be a higher level. They might start at a higher level or play at cap level and test some of that content instead of it just being, all right, you're in the game, you have the full thing, you're level 1, go ahead, try to break the game. This way it's more focused and developers can sort of work in better correlation with what they're trying to accomplish test-wise. So I agree.
Sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what Paul Sage mentioned too, that they were going to start very small and also have focuses on what they wanted to test out. Like they want to start with PvP, they want to after change that for everything for crafting and go for combat and eventually go for the end game. So the goal is, to try and place that all throughout the weeks to be able to have really focuses on the feedbacks they're wanting to get from the customer.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see how this goes, because I feel like what they're doing beta wise is totally already innovative than their competitors and then all the other MMORPG companies that have been predecessors to this game. And let's talk about beta. I feel like people may be thinking right now, oh yeah, closed beta signups, heck yeah, gonna get to play the game before it releases. Demo time, see if I want to buy it or not. But what do you guys think? Let's talk about beta real quick. I feel like beta has sort of become a cliche aspect of the gaming industry. Right now, there are so many games where you can purchase your way into beta. So is it really beta?
No, it's not. It's not. It's a scam to get your money.
Yeah, so I guess, like you said earlier, Tim, if you get into closed beta, please keep that in the back of your mind, that not only are you testing the game for yourself, but you're testing it for other people. I guess either way, it doesn't matter. In the long run, depending on what your feedback is and depending on how efficient and effective you are as a tester, it affects how good of a product we're going to get when the game does release.
Right.
So,
and please be vocal about your like reports too. Like there'll most likely be a beta forum, okay, that will be private for all the beta testers and whatever. And don't go into public forums and be like, hey, look at all these bugs. I mean, most people know this stuff, but I'm just reiterating for those who might not have ever been in a beta before. Stick to the beta testing forums and really try to get your points across to ZeniMax. I mean, let them know. Telling them, hey, this game's great, having a lot of fun playing it. That's good feedback, but try to give them a little bit more than that. Same with, oh, this game sucks. Don't buy this. I'm not going to be buying this when it comes out. That's terrible criticism. I mean, they know the game sucks now, in your opinion, but why? What can they do to improve it? Try to be as constructive as possible, because that's the only way this game is going to be, successful when it comes to beta. And ultimately, beta really plays a big role in the development of the game. I've been in previous betas before, and trust me, major game changing, like oh, the combat's terrible, let's completely change the combat. Yeah, that stuff doesn't change. But little things here and there, and even some good size pieces of content, really change depending on how the players react to the content. So please just do your part if you get selected for beta testing.
Yeah, definitely. And I just want to, I'm contemplating to say this. But for any of the naysayers out there, which there are already a ton of naysayers complaining about this beta format, that they're having it in sessions instead of, you get an invite and you play the game indefinitely, basically up to launch. There was another game we played before this, and they did have closed beta, but that model didn't work, especially when it got to a specific part of open road PvP endgame on this planet called Ilum. And for some reason, I'm assuming not enough people in closed beta got to cap level where they could work together and actually stress test the planet of Ilum.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that's great about this, and maybe that's something that they're actually learning from. Maybe Star Wars The Old Republic is something that like they're learning from, and they're like, oh crap, maybe one weekend we should have players be max level, whatever the cap level is in TESO, and just try to break Cyrodiil. And let's see how it handles, let's see how the server stresses, and all that stuff. So maybe the system is good. I think it's a genuinely great idea. Let's talk about, apparently on the application, guys, you could fill in your guild. You guys think that there's going to be a guild beta weekend? What's your speculation here?
Yeah. You know what? I think they might try to get people that are in the same guild to playing together. So, like, if you get into beta, you might have, not necessarily your entire guild, but maybe a couple extra people that are in your guild with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, let's say you've got, like, 20 people in your guild. You might get 4 or 5 of your friends. That way you guys can kind of team up, party together, kind of get that group content going because you guys are already familiar with each other. You don't have to worry about, finding groups and stuff like that. You guys can just get put into a match. And they can, because you guys work together, right? They want players that work well together to test, like raids and instances and stuff like that. It's easier to do stuff like that when you're coordinated. So if you're on, Mumble or Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or something like that, you guys can coordinate better. And so, yeah, I really think that they're going to try to incorporate, guilds playing together. I don't really think you're necessarily going to get your entire guild. I mean, there's obviously a possibility that you could do that. They might send out a whole invite list to your group, or your guild, I should say. But yeah,
I think they have to do it too because of their whole new mega server technology. With that, they're gonna test that out and see if they can break it that way. Because they said, once you get in, you're always gonna be playing with your friends. So maybe we'll find instances where, who knows, maybe like 3 of your guild members are always on a different phase or whatever, instance, whatever they call it. Like under the hood, there's really multiple servers, but they just call it one. You guys know what I'm saying? Where
that's a great point, actually. That totally makes sense. That's probably why they put that in there. Is they're testing out their mega server technology to see how smart it is with sorting friends or guild members together.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point.
I think they're also going to test out guild structures as a whole and not just focus on inviting a whole guild. Obviously, they're going to advise people on creating new guilds, and some directions they want to do here. But I agree with everything that you said. Like, I think they're going to look at, we have a lot of people from this guild, so if we have a group of people that know each other, then we're going to be able to get a lot of good feedback from guild stuff, especially when it comes to that kind of game.
Well, speaking about guilds, since we're on that topic, Mr. Paul Sage in the MMORPG interview pretty much confirmed that guilds can take keeps and gain alliance points, not only for their campaign alliance, but also for themselves as a guild.
Sweet.
So he said guilds can take keeps. Now, does that mean that you can claim them? That's what it sort of sounded like.
Yeah, I think they've said that you can claim a keep, but I think they've said that you can actually legitimately claim the keep for your guild. But I think they said that they were still working on putting heraldry in there, banners and flags and so on and so forth, and decorating with your clan colors and clan logos and so on and so forth. So I think that stuff's still in the works, but I'm pretty sure the actual mechanic of claiming it for your guild, they've already confirmed that.
That's pretty sweet. I'm excited.
Seeing how it comes from people that also worked on Dark Age of Camelot, which is a really PvP-focused game, and guilds there go and claim keeps, I think that's one thing that they're going to implement in there too. And you can have, probably we're going to see guild points, and people are going to have objectives, and to hold a keep, maybe the guild will have to have points to be able to claim it and also hold it. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. And this is also the same team that worked on, well, some of the people, the same people that worked on Warhammer Online, before they took out the whole guild claiming element of that game.
Oh,
It was pretty badass.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm glad to see this come back and sort of make a what's the word I'm looking for?
Return, appearance.
Comeback.
A comeback.
There you go. Come back.
You know, one thing that Paul mentioned that really got my attention is that he said he didn't confirm, but it might be possible that you could have guilds composed of opposed alliances, like
Yes,
opposed
I was just
factions.
going to
Oh
talk
my
about that,
God.
Sophie.
He said
Sophie read your mind.
he said he was just going to leave it open. So I'm like, are you going to be able to have like races opposed with other races all in the same guild? That would just be sick. I don't even know, like, what is that going to do?
Yeah, well, let's talk about this. So I'm going to queue up a video right now, and, you know, you interpret it how you want, we're going to interpret it how we want, and then we're going to discuss it. But just check this out.
Expect, obviously players won't be able to join guilds of the opposing alliances. You're either one of those three races, and you can only join a guild that's composed of those three races. I just want to clarify that, correct?
That's a really interesting question you asked.
Okay, good to know.
So I think I'm going to leave that open for now, and
Okay.
I would say I wouldn't jump to conclusions at this point.
Okay, well that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, moving on. We'll go. We'll talk a little bit about.
Okay, holy smokes. Butter me up and call me a biscuit. How do we interpret this, guys?
I'm a little confused about this.
Yeah,
like,
I can tell. So am I.
If you have two different alliances in your guild, like, how do you fight as one guild? Are you gonna be fighting each other, or like you just gonna team up on the one allegiance that's not in there? Like, I don't know. This is weird. It's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay.
Sophie,
Okay.
let me ask you a question. You played Dark Age of Camelot, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. And in RVR, when there was like one dominating faction, what did the other two factions do?
You know, it's always Dark Age of Camelot is really specific. Like, there's always, like, since there's three factions, you have one that dominates, and the other two kind of don't like it. You know, sometimes they not sort of team up, but they all say, "Oh, we're tired of seeing, you know, that realm always winning, so let's all go both of us against it." And it's really rare that a faction stays on top for a long time because it keeps shifting and shifting. So, you know, sometimes you see problems people can bring up. Oh, is that realm going to have more population? Is the same thing. People just keep switching and it stays balanced as a whole. So I think I'm really encouraged about the three faction because Dark Age of Camelot is like one of my favorite games for that reason. And I'm really excited to see that coming back.
Well, see, my concern is, how will that work if, you know, how will that system work if you could just have players switch their allegiance to their alliance? Okay, I understand you have three different alliances. You got the Daggerfall Covenant, Ebonheart Pact, and All-Married Dominion. And let's say the All-Married Dominion's dominating. And the other two factions, okay, no, they're not going to, you know, hold hands and kumbaya, but they're going to, you know, work together and communicate somehow. But how is it going to work if you have players sort of diluting their factions because they're switching? What if all the players switch to the All-Married Dominion because they're the ones that are winning right now?
Well, hold on. Like, when Dark Age started, they kind of expected the whole thing. So they put some realm timers, or when the servers came out, now it's different here because it's going to be a whole major server. So I don't think it's going to be, you know, doing the same thing. But it's like you start a race or a realm, and it's not possible to switch back at some point. But now I'm really confused because of this whole server thing. I don't know how they're going to put that out. So really excited to see how it's going to come out.
Interesting.
I'm also scared at the same time, though, because I played Planetside 2 for a little bit, and...
Oh, jeez.
Hold on, hear me out.
No, I am.
The Terran Republic, I just felt was... I always felt when I was playing we were dominant, and I always felt like we were always fighting the Vanu and the Conglomerate, and it really aggravated me.
Well,
like, even if we were losing, like, we were up in the corner, purple and blue were still like, screw the red team. We still want to smother them. You know what I'm saying? It really aggravated me. Like, it got under
Let's
my
just
skin.
kick them off the planet. Okay.
Yeah, and then, like, let's
Yeah,
fight
I know
just
what
us
you're saying.
two. It's stupid.
Right.
It made me mad.
Right. And, you know, I think that adds a whole new element to the PvP experience, though, when you have 3 factions, when 2 factions can team up on another faction like that. I mean, it really sucks for the one faction that's getting pwned by 2 factions, but it doesn't stay like that for too long. You know, how long did it really last in PlanetSide 2? Now, it's going to be different, because in PlanetSide 2, there was 3 different planets that you could visit, and 3 different planets, so if your faction was getting owned on one planet, now you could just move to another planet and then, you know, take over that zone. But with The Elder Scrolls Online, we've got just Cyrodiil. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of one giant zone. So what if one faction gets cornered inside of, like, you know, some cave base up in the right-hand corner of Cyrodiil and they can't get out, right? I mean, what happens then?
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's the proper term to say, but it's called ass jam. You know, you have one faction fighting the other faction, and they're busy, you know, and the third one is kind of sneaking behind, and he just comes from behind and kills both of them by surprise, and that's really fun. That's the term we use in the other, you know, 3-faction game I play, so it's, I don't know if it's going to come back.
Ass jam? Is that what you said?
Ass jam.
Yes, ass jam.
Interesting.
Wow.
That's a new term for MMO gaming that I just learned.
Sophie, you just made me feel like a noob. I've never heard of that.
That is...
I'm glad you guys feel like me for once.
Wait, the ass jamming part or the...
Feeling like a noob for once.
Oh, okay. Just clarifying that one.
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I'm not... As everyone does know, probably, I'm not a big fan of the multi-guilding, but now this is, like, insane. Like, I can't fathom it.
I don't know.
I don't even want to imagine it. Oh, gosh. I hope they know what they're doing. I really do, because when I first heard this news, the first thing that came to my mind was EVE Online. How basically you could join multiple corps, you could join an alliance, and your faction and race in the game doesn't matter at all. To some guilds. To the majority of the guilds, it doesn't matter. I think, Tim, the guild you and I are facilitating, we're trying to stick with the traditional approach because we're afraid that these systems are going to cause a ton of drama and just confusion.
Right.
But it will be interesting to see how this works out. I don't know. I don't understand. I feel like from a lore perspective, too, this seems contradictory to the lore. But I guess even in the Elder Scrolls Online universe, everyone has free will, right? Maybe. Is that their excuse?
I guess so.
I don't know.
I mean, I can see what they're trying... I think we've talked about this before. I mean, they probably are trying to give you the feeling of joining multiple guilds like you can when you join the Thieves Guild, the Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, so on and so forth. It's like the Dark Brotherhood even. I mean, you can join those 4 guilds in Oblivion and Skyrim, even though they're titled differently. But, I mean, you can join 4 different guilds, no problem, and, you know, you never really get any beef from any of the other guilds. Like, oh, dude, you're a mage and you're in the Fighters Guild? Like, WTF, bro? What's up with that? I think they're trying to kind of do that and give you that same feeling in the Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, but with player guilds instead. So... I mean, it's quite different because it's a single player versus an MMO, and MMOs obviously have significant difference. There's a huge significant difference in the two genres. But again, like you said, Tom, I really just hope ZeniMax knows what they're doing, because I don't want to see this cause problems between guilds, because guild drama really, I mean, who likes guild drama?
But there's still a beta though, so if it doesn't work out well, they can scratch it.
They said
maybe.
They said they think players are mature enough to know which guild to join and who they want to be associated with. But the problem is, are guild members or guild leaders going to accept you to be in another guild that's opposed? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't know what that's going to do.
That's... yeah, it's interesting. Do you guys agree that guild... I don't really agree with that people are mature enough people are mature enough to make their own decisions, but I think they might not know what they want, and maybe they think they're making the right decision, but then they're causing a ton of animosity. I don't know. I don't know. That's a bold statement to think players are mature enough to know what they want. But Dan, you made a good point, bro. Closed beta. Hopefully, they can get the kinks out or see how it works out within closed beta. Guys, let's have some fun here, real quick. All right. We've been gone for weeks, but we're going to keep the tradition of the show. We got to answer a ZeniMax Online Studios employees question of the week.
Which one?
So I'm going to cue it up for you guys right now. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Renard Tennessee. I work for QA compatibility on the Elder Scrolls Online. My question for you this week is, in each of the Elder Scrolls games, you begin the game as a prisoner. Tell us what crime ultimately landed you as a prisoner in the game world.
All right. My fellow Michigander, you bite first. What crime did your guy commit to end up behind the bars?
I stole someone's sweet roll.
Oh my god, really?
What? I mean,
wow.
what do you want me to come up with? I overdosed on skooma?
Oh my god. Okay, that's good. That's good. That was good. Three claps for the governor.
Thank
that was
you.
a good one. That was a good one. Waterboy, what about you? How did you end up in prison?
You know, I was very dark, so I decided that I was going to be someone that thinks they're so awesome that they can never get caught, so I started killing people in the town, and I wasn't smart enough because I was getting too cocky and left, evidence.
Yeah, I think there's another word for that. I think it's
serial killer.
Murder.
Serial killer.
Yeah, I was killing people. I'm not going to lie about it.
Okay.
I was killing people. I wasn't scared, and they caught me, so now I'm in jail.
So you were a serial killer. Okay, cool.
Interesting.
Cool. And Sophie, what about you?
Well, actually, I like to, I have this shiny object syndrome, and I wanted to, take this necklace on this dude's desk, and I forgot to put a basket on his head so he couldn't see me, and he busted me, and that was a Skyrim Insider, by the way. And basically, I got caught, and I ran, and when I ran, I had lots of guards after me, So I decided to smack them and just shout everybody in the entire town, and I just kind of got arrested, and that's how it started.
Shame.
Wow.
Woo. Shame.
So you're a jewel thief.
Yeah, I
and
know.
We got a future Thieves Guild initiate over here.
Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood. So I didn't know we actually had two different guilds in here. That's quite interesting.
There you go.
Nice guys. Nice.
Yeah, Sophie. By the way, I forgot to ask you at the beginning of the show. Dan, Tim, and I, we are all members of the All Married Dominion.
Oh.
Where does your allegiance lie?
Well, I was going to say Murray too, so I guess that's a good pick,
Wow.
guys.
Wow. What a coincidence.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We swear we don't have any
We're
bias.
not biased
That's
on
not why we
Trolls
brought her on the show. She was qualified. But
We seriously didn't know until we was on. I swear.
good deal. Good deal. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Moving right along. Ask Us Anything, Daggerfall Covenant Part 2. We're not going to talk about the lore, but there was something sort of intriguing. Question was asked by Emmy Mariner. Will there be books in game? And if so, will the number of books be comparable to the number in past games? And the TESO team responded, there will be more books in ESO than in previous Elder Scrolls titles, including some that you've seen before, if their inclusion is appropriate to the second era. Obviously, the second era is the era TESO takes place. That's pretty impressive. It's a lot of lore.
It's a lot of books.
That's a lot of
reading.
books.
For the lore master, he's Lauren Schick. That's his name, right? He's pumping out a lot of info in that game.
Yeah, let's talk about Lawrence. Let's talk about that video. Impressions, guys. Alliances at war, right? That was what it was.
I think
called.
he was just the man to do that video. Like, I felt awesome watching that video just because of his presence. You know what I'm saying? The way he looked and his voice. It's cool.
I know. Like, if you saw one of the top comments, the thumbs up there was, "This dude's voice is just amazing," or something like that. And it really does give something just with the way he speaks.
He immersed you?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Yeah, Lawrence, yeah, I agree. Lawrence was great. Lawrence was great. I think there was one thing that was brought up where he made a mistake regarding the white gold tower. He said, I think he said that the High Elves made it. The Altmer made it.
Yeah.
But
something along those lines. Yeah.
But I don't care. He was awesome.
Right.
He was great, man. I thought he did a fantastic job pretty much summing up. The fact that he summed up all that information and, like, why the Daggerfall Covenant wants to take Cyrodiil and why the Ebonheart Pact wants to take Cyrodiil and etc. That he squeezed all that info in a, 5-minute video. It's pretty impressive.
Great.
He's concise and to the point. Talking about videos, though, guys, we got one yesterday. Cinematic trailer.
Oh, boy.
What did you guys think? How about that Argonian?
How about that Argonian?
You guys see that Argonian in the video?
I totally see the Argonian. Did you see the Argonian?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't see the Argonian.
I do now, though.
Most people seen the Argonian.
Yeah. Seriously, though, Sophie, what did you think of the cinematic trailer?
It was awesome. Like, when I saw it, I was, turned my volume up, and I just tried to stay, really into it. And when they got into that sieging part, I was like, are we really going to climb up like that and throw stuff down at people coming up? That just sounds perfect.
Thank you. See, Sophie agrees with me.
I was more impressed by them shooting ropes across with the bridges and running across.
Thank you. Dan.
Well, hold on. He said he was impressed. He's not.
Doesn't matter. Impressed doesn't matter if he's impressed. I'm taking that and manipulating what
All
he
right.
said.
Well, okay. The three of you, okay, duke it out. But do you guys think that climbing up walls with ropes, falling rocks as a defensive mechanic, which I think is possible, but I don't believe in the freaking tow cables being shot across and then bridges extending. Do you guys think that's actually going to be a siege mechanic?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yes.
Because it was so awesome. They put it in there. It's in my mind. It has to be in there now.
Thank you. Dan agrees with me.
Sophie, what about you?
The climbing is probably going to be a skill, for, I guess, stealther focused people, and they're going to climb. I don't know, perhaps it's going to have climbing speed or whatnot. They said they're going to have a lot more skills into that game than the other games, that they released. So we're probably going to see new stuff. And I guess Siege, a lot of things of sieging are going to be part of it.
Okay.
Thank you, Sophie.
Yeah, well, sure.
You are so smart. It's just, it's awesome. Thank you.
All right. Let me tell you why I'm doubting it. Let me just explain my.
Because you're a WM.
If you're doubting anything, Tom, is how the heck did that guy get out of the ground from all the way down there? You know what I'm saying?
That is a true
look
statement.
at the
What
keep.
did you do? Fly?
The keep in that cinematic trailer is higher than a normal skyscraper.
So it's in a mountain.
Are there going to be keeps like that in TESO?
Why not? It's in a mountain. It wasn't a mountain. It was the top of a mountain. It wasn't like a tower just straight up in the sky. It was in a mountain. That's why there was a dungeon underneath the keep. It was
Yeah, what do you think about that? Do you guys think that there's going to be like a basement that enemy teams could sneak in through up into the keep?
Sure, why not?
I think that's architectural error.
You know what? They had dungeons and castles.
Yeah, but one that are, freaking one with a wooden door, really? That's worse than the portcullis.
Who cares? Maybe they didn't have any iron or steel or whatever.
Okay.
Or ebony.
They have magic, though.
Okay.
No. With all seriousness, though, all right, fine. I'll be more optimistic. Maybe there is a reason. I mean, why would they have that? I'm sure they wouldn't want to tease their player base into thinking that they have cool things in their game, right?
Right.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not.
But what do you guys think? Let me ask you this question: do you guys think that the Breton, the Breton, you think that he got a little love, too much love in that video? What was up with that 30-second ownage scene, and then the all married Dominion chick, she got like 5 seconds of action?
They just wanted to suppress how awesome she was until a later video.
Oh. Okay, so you're predicting there's going to be another cinematic trailer?
There could be. I mean, I didn't imply that, but sure.
I would assume there would be something like that at E3 maybe. I mean, they kind of just released this on a whim, right? First of all, I believe Blur Studios made this video.
They didn't. I don't think.
They didn't? I'm pretty sure they did.
On their
I'm pretty
site.
sure on one of the things it said that Blur made it and to check out their other...
That would be cool if they did. I hope you're right.
Okay. The point is, I really think that they would... I mean, those are expensive cinematics, right? I would hope that they would have something for E3 or kind of like an announcement cinematic. You know, Tor had 3 cinematics which were phenomenal. And I mean, I like the Elder Scrolls cinematic. I want one with maybe dialogue now too, and something that kind of shows maybe a bigger scale battle between the factions as opposed to just one guy running around throwing knives and stuff like that. I mean, it was a great trailer. Don't get me wrong. It was a great trailer, totally awesome. But I want to see like a major scale battle, perhaps assaulting the Imperial City, or Molag Bal just like commanding undead armies and stuff like that. That would be awesome. So, yeah. That's what I want.
Yeah, I agree with you. I felt like... Don't get me wrong. I thought the trailer was great. But it was an RVR battle, but there were only like 4 people involved per faction. That's the vibe I got. I felt like the Imperials were outnumbering all of them combined. But they were just terrible soldiers. They were like stormtroopers.
Right.
And when the Breton, shot those 2 bridges across, there were 4 guys that were running around those bridges before they got chopped down, and that was like his army. Until the end of the video when 3 other guys came out of nowhere and just came and backed him up.
I know, I saw that, and I was like, who are these people?
So, wow, I guess exclusive, you can take keeps in TESO with 4 people. That's cool.
Oh,
you can if everyone's gone after 2 battles.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a great trailer. I hope there's another one, but that was really cool. Definitely looking forward to that. Let's see, what else do we have here? Guys, we have mail time questions. It's been a while since we've answered a mail time question. And there were a couple that we didn't answer that we did get before episode 10, but we were running short on time with episode 10, so we apologize, but that's okay. Remember, if you want to send us mail time questions, tweet at RealTrollScroll, and we will answer them as soon as we can, which will usually be on the show following that tweet. So we got one from Colton Melham at RealTrollScroll. Hey guys, since I'm a big PvE player, how will the raids be? 10-man, 25-man, or do you think there will be all 5-mans like Guild Wars 2? Take it away.
First of all, they had 5-man raids in Guild Wars 2. That's...
I wouldn't call that a raid.
I was just saying it sort of defeats the purpose of a raid, so we're going to toss that one out the window. I would say we'll probably have the typical 5-man group. So we'll probably have a couple 10-mans, maybe a 15-man, and maybe for your like huge guilds, 25-man. But I wouldn't see anything like a 40 or 50-man raid. That seems a bit... I mean, it's potentially possible. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's completely out the window, but I think we'll probably see more towards like 15 to 25, somewhere in there.
What about the whole open world PvP dungeons?
Depends. I mean, like I know in Warhammer.
I mean, you could have 100 people
Right.
participate in that.
In Warhammer Online, they had war bands that consisted of 4 parties made up of 5 players each. So they had 20 people in a war band. So I could see them following a similar path in Elder Scrolls Online.
Cool.
20 to 25.
Sweet. Sophie, what's your think? What are you thinking?
Well, thinking that it's going to be one massive server, everybody together, I think the PvE raids, especially like the big guys at the end game, will be pretty hard to beat. And I don't think 20 people will be enough. I really think that we're going to see really massive, crazy zergs in PvP and in PvE. That's my thought.
All right. Well, yeah, and I keep... When he asked this question, the thing that came to my mind was Cyrodiil with Moloch ball and control and all those like chains coming out of the sky and stuff. And I can only imagine that there's going to be a ton of world bosses surrounding the Imperial City or in the Imperial City. They're going to take a ton of people to bring them down. But Danny boy, what about you, bro? What's your...
I think any number is suitable. I think whatever you go in with, they'll match it with how many monsters there are. So if you want to go in with 25, they'll put on 25. If you go on with 5,
that's
they'll make
interesting.
it double 5. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to try and match you.
Okay, so you think it's going to be all proportional?
Yes.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That's been done before. That's pretty good.
Cool.
Got another question from a gentleman named RecMMO on Twitter. At Real Troll Scroll, what's the most unique / awesome experience you've had in the Elder Scrolls in an Elder Scrolls game? And can you see it happening again in the Elder Scrolls Online? Started with Tim last time. How about we start with you again, Dan?
This is the one where our experience and will it happen again? Is that the question? I like killing bears. That's one of my favorite experiences. So I hope that's in there again.
Okay, so I think you'll definitely be able to kill bears in TESO.
And I'll be happy.
You know, if that was like your high point in Skyrim, I really think you had I think you missed out on like the main story.
Well, if
there were dragons involved in the main story.
Well,
you went bear hunting.
Hippopotamuses would be more favorable to me, but they're not.
Sophie.
They're not in TESO, so.
Oh my god!
Something about hippopotamus is just so dangerous, you know.
God,
It's
you
ferocious.
think even hippopotamuses exist in Tamriel?
No, that's why I picked a bear.
All right.
But if there was,
Thank you, Dan, for your participation.
okay.
Sophie, what about you?
Well, this brings out a question that they've not talked about yet, but what about housings, you know? Because that's what I really like in Skyrim and also in Oblivion. You could have your own house where you could just stock your things and even decorate it. And I could spend hours just trying to put my fruits into the basket and stuff like that, you know? And I'm really wondering if they're going to have housings in Elder Scrolls Online.
Interesting. I haven't played Hearthfire yet. Is it good?
It's fun. Well, I shouldn't say it's like to
Yeah,
die.
did your family get murdered too?
No, they didn't get murdered. There were bandits that decided to attack, and I fended them off because I'm a boss. I'm Dragonborn. I can do that. But my family did not die. I did adopt a child who did get lost on his way to my house, and I'm pretty sure he died. But that's not
Terrible
my fault.
foster parent.
So, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Terrible. Terrible. Yeah. What about you, Tim? What's your experience?
Well, when I'm not losing children, I'm sometimes adventuring, and I guess the most interesting it's probably the most random experience today. I was just walking down the path one day, and all of a sudden, like, this dead dragon just falls from the sky and just lands in front of me, and I absorb the soul. And I'm like looking around, I'm like trying to find okay, where did that guy come from? And there's no dragons, there was like no battle, there was no guys that were just launching arrows up at this guy. He just like had a heart attack and just died. And I was like, thank you, because I needed the money, so I took his, bones and stuff and walked to the store and sold that stuff, so. Yeah.
You think that's going to happen again in TESO?
Probably not. But I wouldn't be opposed to more dragon bones that I could sell at a general store. Because I am quite the merchant.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, guys and gals, we have come to the end. Episode 11 of your Troll Scroll podcast. You may be thinking, what? That's it? Really? Well, don't despair. Coming back next week. We have a ton more to follow up with this. And we're hoping that we're going to get more details throughout this weekend regarding closed beta and other facts. Maybe we'll get a follow-up on what, not only multi-guilding means, but changing your alliance, possibly. I know Paul Sage said don't jump to the gun on that, but it's hard not to. That sounds crazy.
Crazy.
Sounds insane. Send us tweets at RealTrollScroll. Send us your mailtime questions. We'd love to answer them. It's fun. We would love it if you would like our Facebook page. Search the keyword Troll Scroll. Our podcast is on iTunes, Zune Marketplace, Podomatic. Just search. We're everywhere. We even stream on Stitcher Radio if you have that app for your ISO device. Tim, where can they find out more information about the Elder Scrolls Online?
Well, they could go to trollscroll.com. They could also go to theelderscrollsonline.com.
Okay. All right. Yeah, they can. That's true. That's true. Yeah. Check out trollscroll.com. www.trollscroll.com. We have some great editorials up there, video dissections, and of course, our podcast. Sophie.
And videos.
Yeah.
Don't forget the videos. You can check us out on YouTube as well. Subscribe, comment, like, do what you gotta do. Check out our videos.
Check out our videos. Sophie.
Yes.
Where can our fans find you?
They can find me either Brecca on Twitter. We're probably just gonna put that into the description somewhere, probably on YouTube channel. Sophie Brecca on YouTube. I mean, we'll just send you the whole thing because my nickname was /random 10 years ago, and I got stuck with it, and I kept it, so that's why it's so long and so terrible.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Sweet. Sweet deal. Tim, you got a new Twitter too, didn't you?
Well, I wouldn't say I got a new one. I've never had one.
Oh.
Well, I shouldn't say. I mean, okay, yes, I got a new Twitter.
Good.
Do you want me to tell you what my Twitter is? Is that what you're implying?
I mean, you got a Twitter. It would be sort of counterproductive if you didn't promote your Twitter account.
That's a true statement. Okay. My Twitter is Le French Guy. Yeah. That's it.
Who said you're not French anymore?
Well, I'm technically French. I mean, I'm always going to be French. You really can't change that. But I mean, since Sophie's more French than me,
I
Whoa.
speak French.
Whoa.
I speak French, but I'm not French.
Well, you speak it. I don't even speak it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. My apologies.
Wow.
I would consider anybody that speaks German more German than me. I mean, whatever. The point I'm trying to make here is if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at LaFrenchGuy. There's underscores in between. La, the. Yeah.
And Dan the Man.
You can find me at Twitter at Dan Del Signor.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Sweet deal. Well, Sophie, thanks for coming on the show. Tim and Dan, always a pleasure. Always.
Thank you.
Can't wait to record our next episode next week. Guys and gals, it is great to be back. It's back to the game. Ready to get back in the swing of things. Can't wait. Can't wait to see what this game has to offer and awesome, new, exciting information we got this week. I'm sure we're going to need even more details on that in the near future. So long, farewell.
See ya.
Bye.